evolve into the nurturing aspects. And we started to look at, okay, let's not go the hard sell, let's go for the more caring approach, because people were in a vulnerable state and so were businesses, and that was perfectly fine. Now that we're starting to into that post-COVID era, which is what we're talking about tonight, is it's all about rebalancing your marketing approach and your messaging and your tone and your whole like way you approach marketing. And so does anyone want to discuss where we're talking now about maybe shifting the balance back to more of a comprehensive marketing approach? Does anyone want to weigh in?
Look, I get that we need to rebalance it, but I actually think we're going to all still be feeling very sensitive.
Very true.
Very, we're all a bit shell-shocked still from this. And I think even when we talk about rebalancing, that's going to be a slow go.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, having that humanity and the empathy as the key to your messaging and brand approach, making sure your brand identity is the foundation of that, is going to be key for a while, because we're not just, even though a lot of us are quite excited, we're still nervous. There's just too much happening in the world. And I think if you move into even rebalancing too quickly, it's going to feel almost knee-jerk, because you can't just say, I'm here for you, I'm here to help you, and then all of a sudden, and all of a sudden you're like, and here's my happy product stuff again, So I actually think, talking about going back to the marketing strategy, there's been too much happening to do this too quickly. It's going to be a very slow ramp up, and I think all the way into 2021, I think it's still going to be a trend. I hate calling it a trend, but it's going to be important that you keep that empathy and the connectivity and that story approach at your base, and not just go back to that hard selling approach.
Agreed. You don't want to be the hard sell right now, but the point I was making was that just making sure that you're not still stuck in the COVID era. We're in the post-COVID era now. We don't want to be saying, hey guys, we're adapting. It's done. It needs to be. And we talked about it earlier, was the positivity message.
Yes.
Embracing that.
And I think that's where we were talking about the subtle introduction of an extra colour or two in your colour palette that is quite happy, quite excited. So some, and we talk back to the neons that we're seeing. So really bringing those out can actually, your message can be still quite long-term and nurturing, but your visual stimulation has changed. Okay, so we would definitely recommend considering that from a branding perspective. That's where we would probably look at it.
Look, I think, from our point of view, Chris, you're right around now we can move to more action and messages that kind of get people out and you can come in store.
You're welcome. That's the message. You're welcome to come in.
Absolutely. So it's now kind of, rather than just talking about, or connecting with them such, and that being the core message, now it's about actually, you can get out, you can actually make some purchases and you can get back to some sort of normal life.
And guys, what do we think about because, there'll be a number of businesses out there that are in a bit of stress at the moment. So they are going to feel like they do need to get custom now. How do we feel we should, they should approach their marketing? Because obviously they're going to have one eye on the strategic going forward, but then they've got this immediate business demand to say, right, no, but I do need a bit of a buy now button. So in terms of messaging, Chris, have you...
Look, I found that, like Ariel was saying, is I would say don't be afraid of selling. That would be something I would say, because a lot of brands are going, I don't know if it's the right time or not. And it's not about forcing it down people's throats or anything like that. It's more like being okay to say, okay, we're entering a post-COVID era where our cafe is open. Our real estate business is open. We are launching a brand.
It needs to be the optimism and looking into the futisure. Definitely. We're completely done with the whole sadness. We want to have that happiness and the optimism for sure.
Yeah. And so, like, as I said, don't be afraid. Like, I've seen a lot of brands online that they're just waiting. And I'm like, you don't have to be, you don't have to be afraid. Like, you are there to, don't think of it as you're hard selling. Think of it as you're solving problems.
Yeah.
And like Ariel was saying, keep that empathy at the core. And it is a lesson that we've learned from COVID, but grow from that. Like, you've got your base, and now look at it and say, okay, how can I use that as a message to say, we are open, we are looking, we're looking to the future together with you.
Yeah.
And this is what we can do. And it's about spreading your wings a little bit. And there was a good question that just said, how is rebalancing different from refreshing your marketing plan? So they're essentially related, because what we're trying to do is, so your marketing plan was the one that you probably set earlier before COVID, and you set it as a blue sky, it's amazing year, right? That didn't quite get there. And so that point was, we are going back and looking at it and going, how can we adapt now to this? The rebalancing point we're saying is that during COVID, everyone, the savvy marketing professionals, what we looked at is we said, okay, how can we pull back our norm and go, right, what can we do that's more aligned with people's, to be more supportive?
It was more empathetic and more nurturing. We all moved into nurturing mode.
Yeah, and
as
like
opposed
connecting.
to, and there was a strong direction within our client base and within our business, at least, not to do sell.
Yeah.
So it was like,
same.
so it was build brand awareness, nurture, be empathetic.
Yeah.
But now I think as we're moving out of it, it's okay to say, yes, I do want you to buy my service or my product, but it has to be, it's still in a nurtured.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what we're meaning by.
And that's the rebalance.
That's the rebalance.
And the marketing plan is where you're looking at your strategies and the executions. Like, we want to grow, we want to do this, we want to hire, we want to take a new direction.
This is the plan of how we're rolling it out. That would be the difference.
Yeah, and I think the key to avoid, look, there were, as I said before, there'll be businesses that are really keen to get the sell now because they need the sell now, and they need that buy now button, and that's fine. But just ensure that if you're giving offers, the way that you present it, you don't be seen as a transactional business, because if all you are is oh look, there's 50% off, I'll buy now, that customer will only come back to you when there's 50%.
Yeah, there's a danger there.
There's a real danger there. So even if it's